of it? Yep, there we go.
They have also like this.
Thank you so much. Thank you. Do you want a t-shirt or any pins?
Sure.
Next, we're going to do number 8, the rainbow.
Like I should be wearing it. Aren't you? Did we just say together?
The Women's March! Make sure you're doing the right thing and going to these marches and legalize abortion laws! The restrictions are stupid!
Pro-choice, united, will never be defeated. 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 My body,
Whose body?
my body,
Whose body?
my body,
Whose body?
my body.
Whose body?
My body! Who sent us? 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 They say no choice, we say pro-choice. They say no choice, we say pro-choice. Abortion is healthcare. 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 Abortion is healthcare.
I am absolutely thrilled to welcome our first speaker to the stage, Rana Abdulhamid. Rana is a community organizer, activist, and nonprofit founder running for Congress in New York's 12th district. She was born and raised in Queens, New York. Please join me in giving her a warm welcome. What's up, New York City? My name is Rana Abdulhamid. I'm from Queens, New York. I'm the child of working class Egyptian immigrants. And I love you all for being here. This is beautiful. This is what the resistance looks like. This is what it looks like. Before I start, I just want to begin by acknowledging that we are gathering today on Manhattan land belonging to the Lenape people, and I want to recognize the enduring presence of the Lenape people and all indigenous people who have been caretakers of our lands, of this land. I'm running for Congress in my home district, New York 12, which is part of Queens, parts of Manhattan, and parts of Brooklyn, because I'm running to bring an intersectional feminist lens to the federal government. And I'm the founder of a nonprofit organization I started organizing when I was 14, because I experienced for the very first time what it's like not to be able to have full control over my own body. When I was walking down the streets of this city and I was assaulted by a man who tried to take off my hijab because I'm a Muslim woman. And I started training women in self-defense, non-binary people in self-defense. I have a black belt in Shotokan karate. Yes. And it was always about bringing power into our bodies and reclaiming the power of our bodies. And I'm sure so many of you know I'm a survivor of both gender-based violence and hate-based violence. And I'm sure so many of you know what it is to have the power of your body being taken away from you, to not necessarily have choice over your own body. But today, I'm here, I'm angry as hell. I am so angry because Republicans and right-wing people in the Supreme Court threaten to completely gut our reproductive rights. They are standing against our human rights, and it puts so many people in our community at risk. And let me be clear, across the globe, bans on abortion do not ever stop abortions. We know that. This is about politics. It's about power. Bans on abortions make healthcare inaccessible and lead to the deaths of thousands of pregnant people. It does not have to be this way. Let me be clear, this law is not about God. It is not about religion or faith. I am a religious woman, and I am angry that men keep weaponizing faith against our bodies. There is nothing godly about restricting basic access to health care. There is nothing godly about abortion restrictions leading to higher rates of maternal and infant mortality. It does not have to be this way. And let me be clear, outlawing the right to choose is not about life. Y'all know this. It has nothing to do with life. It's about keeping poor people in poverty. It's about keeping trans people, black, brown people. This law is classist, it's racist, it's transphobic, it's misogynistic, it's harmful, because we know indigenous women are dying 2 times the rate, and black women are dying 4 times the rate as white women in the US while giving birth. And it does not have to be this way.
That's right.
For years, we as organizers, all of us as organizers, we have been warning about the end of Roe versus Wade. And for years, we have been called hysterical, we have been pushed aside, we have been called dramatic, but it is time for Congress to do what is right, what should have been done for decades. We need to codify the constitutional right to abortion. We need to eliminate the filibuster. We need to expand the Supreme Court. We deserve better legislators, not those who just sit on their hands while our rights are being stripped away because our lives are dependent on it.
That's right.
And most of us know what it's like to have our bodies regulated, politicized, policed. We've been told who to love and who not to love. We've been told what we should or should not wear, but not anymore, because look around. We are organized and we know what happens when we come together, rise up and fight back. And that's what we're doing today. We are fighting back. This movement is for abortion justice. This movement is for reproductive justice. It's for our fundamental human rights. And we're not going to stop fighting until we put an end to the attacks on our bodies. And I'm running for Congress because we need leadership that's going to fight for our lives the way we fight for each other. The way we fight for each other. And I'm here today. I love y'all. I really do. Because this gives me so much hope. It really does. Because y'all are out here fighting for each other. You're fighting for yourselves. You're fighting for me. This is what this is about. And I'm so grateful and so happy to be here and so honored to be here to share this with you. And I cannot wait to keep fighting until this is our reality. This is our reality. Thank you so much.
You know, for decades, we've looked to the courts to protect our most fundamental rights. And yes, the ACLU, Planned Parenthood, others, we're fighting in court on these bans too. But the Donald J. Trump Supreme Court has abandoned Roe v. Wade. That's right, his boo-oo. But that means that we have so much more to do. Today, thousands, maybe millions of us across the country are in the streets. But tomorrow, we'll be on the phones, and the next day, we will be at every single polling place in every single election to make sure that our rights are heard. And most important of all, we in New York have to make sure that New York is a safe haven for women who need abortions, and we will close every single loophole in our current state law.
The situation right now is a direct result of a small, massively overfunded group of conservative white supremacists who have spent the last 50 years scheming and manipulating our political system to maintain power and control our bodies. They have invested in state legislatures that have not been answered by the progressive democratic system. That changes now. This anti-choice minority has created infrastructure to infiltrate our judicial system. They have stolen 2 Supreme Court justice seats, and they flood the media with propaganda and graphic lies about medical procedures that are fake, and they shame us into not telling our abortion stories. That stops right now. Because here is what I want us to remember. Over 80% of this country, Democrats, Republicans, independents, socialists, everyone believe that we have a fundamental access to reproductive freedom. Now, all those folks may not be here today, and they may have nuanced perspectives about how they deal with the issue, but we all believe in reproductive freedom and abortion access. Remember that. Even when it seems like this anti-choice minority are winning, and truth, they have certainly made far more progress than they should have over the last few decades, we cannot forget that we have something far more powerful than their propaganda. We are the majority. Remember that. And we have something so powerful. We have our voices, we have our stories, and we have our votes. Yes, we need Congress to act. We need to pass the Women's Health Protection Act. We need to end the filibuster. We need to rebalance the Supreme Court. Yes, that is true. But the emergency is right here, right now, and the solution is closer to home. In November of 2021, there are 45,000 races on the ballot in 31 states, including New York and New Jersey. Every single elected office has a role to play in protecting abortion justice and reproductive freedom. Our call to action today must be to pay very close attention to every election everywhere and to always vote all the way down the ballot. New Yorkers know this. In 2018, when we defeated the anti-abortion Independent Democratic Caucus in the state Senate, one of the first pieces of legislation that we passed after that victory was the Reproductive Health Act. Thank you, Senator Liz Krueger and the team. And when the New York City Controller and the City Council allocated funds for abortion access, we became the first city in America to cover abortion care. This is what we need everywhere, everywhere. Now, remember, we have to win in state capitals and city halls, not just Congress and the courts. We need to show up for state and local political action. We need to run for office. We need to donate to state and local folks running everywhere. We need to vote. Now, side note, Vote Pro-Choice makes it very easy for you to do this at voteprochoice.us, but Google also works well too. Remember, last thing, abortion justice is not polarizing. Abortion justice is not polarizing. It is not polarizing. We are not a divided country. Abortion justice is powerful, it is personal, and now the solution is political. So here we are. Here we are. We rally, we march. No shame, we tell our stories with no regrets, and we will vote, and we will show up right here, right now. We have all the power we need. Never forget that, New York. You are beautiful. Go out there and vote pro-choice. Thank you very much.
They've been chipping away at our rights for decades, for our right to choose. They are no longer chipping away, they are bulldozing our rights right into the ground. This has got to stop. I'm Carolyn Maloney, and I am with the She Series. I represent part of Manhattan, Brooklyn, and Queens, and I am here to fight with you every inch of the way. This has got to stop. Last week, on Thursday, I chaired a hearing of the Oversight Committee on the Texas decision, the terrible Texas decision. 3 brave congresswomen testified. Cori Bush, Pramila Jayapal, and Barbara Lee. And they told their abortion stories, some for the first time. And across the country, women are speaking out, telling their stories, and making the case that this has got to stop. Now, in December, is going to be the Mississippi case before the Supreme Court. And we have to stop. The entire time that I've been in Congress, we have not had a pro-choice majority until this year. Thank God. So the entire time they were chipping away. But this year, we were able to pass the Women's Health Protection Act, which codifies Roe v. Wade. We passed it in the House of Representatives. We have to now pass it in the Senate. That is our goal. For everybody, you know, we have the votes, we have the majority in the Senate, we can pass it. But there's a technicality called the filibuster. It's got to be overturned, or we have to carve out voting rights and abortion rights from the filibuster. Those are the 2 ways we preserve a woman's right to choose. Let me tell you, there is no democracy if people cannot determine their own health for their bodies, their own reproductive choices. That is the truth. There is no democracy unless we can control our bodies. It's so outrageous. I can't believe that we are still fighting this fight. But we have to win. I'm with you every inch of the way. I'm going back to Washington next week to continue organizing, working with you And I thank all of the organizers, everyone who made this happen. Believe me, there is nothing you could be doing that's more important than speaking out for the ability to make decisions about our own bodies. Thank you. Thank you.
New York City, how are we? Listen, I am so happy to be here with all of you to fight back. Listen, drag has always been political. I'm gonna say it again. Drag has always been political. I walked down here today, baby, I put this on, and it is political. Now listen, it was drag queens and trans women of color that started the Stonewall Uprising in 1969. The Sisters of Perpetual Indulgence came together to take care of our LGBTQ siblings and allies during the AIDS crisis. And as a drag queen, I feel like it is my duty to use my platform to advocate for issues that I believe in, to create change for a better world. Now listen, I became the national co-chair of Drag Out the Vote so that I could use my art and activism of drag to get more people involved in our democracy. Because drag has always been political. Say it with me. Drag has always been political. Now listen, I'm here today to tell you that abortion rights are LGBTQ rights. Abortion rights are LGBTQ rights. Abortion rights are LGBTQ rights.
My name is Jerry Nadler, and my pronoun is he, him. Women in the state of Texas have been without the right to safe legal abortion now for 30 days. 30 days stripped of their constitutional rights. 30 days of providers living in fear of vigilantes. 30 days being denied the freedom to make decisions about their own lives and their own bodies. It's 30 days too many. I'm about to say, may give away my age, that over 50 years ago, I was lobbying in the New York State Assembly to legalize abortion. And I sat in the gallery of the State Assembly and watched as New York passed the first law to legalize abortion in this country. 3 years before Roe v. Wade. If you had told me then that 50 years later, I would still be fighting to guarantee that everyone in this country has access to safe and legal abortions, I would have said you are crazy. But the law in Texas and the countless copycat laws we are already seeing spring up across the country are the result of a decades-long, well-funded campaign by anti-abortion activists to systematically strip women in this country of their rights. And the Supreme Court let them do it without hearing a single oral argument in the dead of night in an unsigned opinion. It's cowardly, but I am not giving up. I am doing everything I can in Washington to stop this anti-woman, anti-abortion campaign. I was proud to co-sponsor the Women's Health Protection Act last week, which will codify the protections of Roe. And I will be holding hearings in the coming weeks to make sure we understand the impact these laws are having in Texas and around the country, and how we can stop them. I'm calling on all of us to stand up for women's rights, to stand up for bodily autonomy, Stand up for abortion rights. Thank you all, and we'll keep up the fight.
If I can impart to you a couple of words today, Jeete raho. Live long, live on, and prosper. Hit it! Yeah. Naam hai mera kashish, I got roots in Hindustan. When I'm feeling blessed, I say Alhamdulillah. You like this attitude? Yeah, I get it from my mom. We ain't afraid to rep where the hell we come from. I got sass, I got passion, and I ain't afraid to flaunt it. And just cause I'm a woman doesn't mean that I don't own it. Don't tell me tone it down, cause I'm a boss on a mission. Best believe I'm not asking for no permission. Yeah, yeah. And to the people we say Jeete raho, my baby. Jeete raho, my darling. Jeete raho, live that long life, live that long life. Hey, immigrated to the States, but I don't forget the culture. Red, white, blue, orange, and green. Yeah, look at all my colors. You can judge me all you want, but I'm just out here living with a million like me. We all coexisting. And to the people we say, Jeete raho, my darling. Jeete raho, live that long life, live that long life. Hey, let me hear you sing. Living that long life, staying up all night, we hustling every day, trying to get all that paper. Living that long life, staying up all night, we hustling every day. Man, I'm starting to fade away, yeah. I'm starting to fade away, yeah. And then I hear him say, Jeete raho, my baby. Jeete raho, my darling. Jeete raho, live that long life, live that long life. You live that long life, Jeete raho, my baby. Oh, my darling, live that long life. You live that long life. Woo!
Today to rewrite history. This is, my child was with me. I'm the proud mother of 2 black queer kids. I love my babies hard. And my agender 11-year-old said, Mommy, here they are. My child said, Mommy, why is this happening? And I told them that history is repeating itself. We have been here before. Our foremothers have been here before. I do not want to be back here when it's their turn. We have an obligation to the next generation to say enough is enough. We have an obligation to hold the women in Texas and to let them know we got you. We have an obligation to be there for them because people in Texas are literally deciding, do I go as far as Illinois to get an abortion or do I feed my children? Women in Texas are having to scramble and make plans to leave their children with people because they need abortion care. And abortion care is health care. Our Planned Parenthood call lines in Texas, where you're normally calling to make an appointment, are now crisis call lines. People are scared. People need help. People need to know that New York got them. Texas, we're sending you love. We're sending you hope. We're sending you our passion. We knew we would be here. Justice Ginsburg told us, dissent. We must continue to dissent. She left a roadmap for us to follow, to protect reproductive care, to protect abortion care, to protect LGBTQ men's care. We must dissent. We in New York State are fortunate. We have the Reproductive Health Act. We have a governor in Governor Hochul who will stand with us. She is making sure that we close all the loopholes around RHA. But we can't stop here. We need to have an abortion fund. We need to let people know you can come to New York. You will find care. You will find safety. We got you, Texas! We are, all of us, fighting for the future. They want to drag us into the past, but we're not going back. We know that a better world is possible. We know that we are living in a time in history where the resources and the technology and the education exist, so the basic necessities of the entire planet, of every single person in this planet, can be met. Jobs, housing, education, healthcare, clean energy. Those are not pipe dreams. Those are human rights that can be realized for all right now.
What you are seeing firsthand is nothing new. This is exactly how white supremacy works to dehumanize anyone who is not cis, white, and male. And enough is enough. 18 states have passed 46 laws to restrict or ban abortion. In 1 year, abortion access in this country is now determined by an individual's zip code. Nearly 90% of American countries are without a single abortion provider, and 6 states are down to their last abortion clinic. There is no humanity, no exceptions for rape or for incest. 3 million women in the United States have experienced rape-related pregnancies during their lifetime. The next 3 million women will be forced to carry their rapist child to term. The penalty for aborting after rape is more severe than rape now. And in the state of Texas, women's bodies and pregnant bodies are more regulated than guns. 77% of anti-abortion leaders are cis men. 100% of them will never fucking get pregnant. And are sexist, homophobic, racist, and some even rapists. 85% of patients seeking abortion in Texas can no longer get abortions. And 70% of them are women of color. Majority who have been stripped of their rights to live, their rights to exist, their rights to breathe, their rights to dream. Black infants in Texas are twice as likely as white infants to die before their first birthday. The black maternal mortality rates are 3 times higher than white women and twice as high for indigenous women. In 2018, black people in Texas were almost twice as likely to die as white people because of preventable conditions they did not get health care for. It also further stigmatizes abortion in Asian communities and puts the 20% of Asian Americans in Texas who are undocumented, the 12% of them who lack health insurance, and the 11% of them living in poverty into direct lines of danger and violence. This will not end abortions. This will end safe abortions. For too many people, we claim to be a country of refuge, of safety, of freedom. What is life when you claim to be pro-life, if only deemed worthy to the white and to the wealthy? What does it mean to be pro-life if you only value certain lives? And the difference between who you value and who you don't in this case is life and death. In a system where people call the police on black children for setting up lemonade stands and brutalize Asian women for a virus we have no responsibility for. By enacting a law that relies on deputizing private citizens with a $10,000 bounty to harass people trying to get or aiding in getting equal access to abortion health care, its encouragement of patrolling, policing, and for surveillance for me too closely mimics the Fugitive Slave Act of 1850. And I will not quietly go back to 1850. The agency of our choice is taken away from us, but our voices are not. My reproductive rights are not for you to take, and neither is the right to my body. I am pro-choice and pro-voice, and I encourage us all to get loud with our voices. There is no more time. There is no more time. Throughout our country's history, this is how systemic racism and white supremacy has eaten at the fabric of our humanity. That began with slavery in 1619 and persists today. To reverse the systemic racism, we demand legal and policy interventions to be made constitutionally to protect abortion rights equally and accessibly across all people intersectionally. The state of our humanity depends on you, to all the cis white men who benefit from abortion but are silent on the issue. We see you. We see you, and this is your fight too. 248. That is the average amount of miles pregnant Texans will now have to travel to get an abortion out of state. And today we are here in the name of the women and the people who will not have the privilege to make it those 248 miles. Thank you.